Hello and welcome to Code with Brylie. Today we're going to be working on the Western Friend website. This project is open source on GitHub at github.com/westernfriend and then the westernfriend.org repository. We're working on an issue number 938 where Wagtail had deprecated a model admin feature that allowed you to design or define administrative interfaces for content models such as Django models or Wagtail page models. This has been moved out of Wagtail core into a third-party package that may or may not be maintained, but now since Wagtail 6 and 6.1 releases, they've done significant improvements to the alternative way of defining view sets without relying on snippets. And here we have the documentation for these generic views. A lot of our content is defined with Wagtail page models. So there's actually a custom page model view set that I used in a previous pull request, and we will use that again today. Whoops. So we will run the server and we'll pick an easy, hopefully, place to start. So we'll go to the Wagtail administrative interface, Wagtail admin. One of the more difficult places to work will be this issues page, but here we can see, maybe we'll start here today. I just met with Mary Klein, the editor, and she kind of agreed that we can lose some of this functionality and switch the new view where we won't have these buttons where you can view articles for an issue or add an article for an issue. She's not really set in any one particular way of managing the content. And this layout is automatically generated by the Wagtail model admin package. And they just didn't want to fight with the complexities in that package. And as they were improving the Wagtail user experience, I think it became too cumbersome to improve this code. I'm not sure exactly what the underlying issues were, but I can see it, and I would open up sometimes a bug report about the layout getting squashed and things like that. Here, for example, these buttons and things going underneath the filtering, and they just essentially said it's deprecated. So yeah, maybe we can improve this one today. But that just reminded me of a small bug I had just noticed. So before I start coding, I will create a branch. I just need to figure out what branch to work in. So yesterday we worked on, or in the last stream, we worked on creating these views and then registering admin view sets for news items. And the view set is defined here in views. So I hope you can see the code there. And essentially, there's a filter set here that I think I need to just traverse over into the topic name and see if this works. So if I go to news items and I check this filter out, topic 1 seems to work. Topic though, it's annoying. But it works, and it's because there's a foreign key. There's a join table here called topics, called news item topics. If I look at the models, it'll make more sense. So basically our outline here, don't want to move, I just want to resize it. There we go. Collapse all. We have news index page. All the news items are added underneath that, and each news item has a topic. These are separate collections or tables, And so this news item topic table has a news item column and a topic column. So it's like a join, many to many, allowing us, any topic to be associated with many news items, and any news item can have many topics. And so that's why I'm using this. In our view, I realized I've omitted this. So this will go into this topics news item topic table, and it'll go into the topic itself. I think that's the fix, but topics is a bit awkward. So if I look at the filter set documentation, maybe there's a way we can customize the text. You can add ability to add filter listing to define a list filter attribute and specifying the list of fields to filter. Wagtail uses the Django filter package under the hood. Okay. This attribute will be passed as Django filters set meta fields attribute. It means you can pass a dictionary that maps the field name to a list of lookups. So let's see if that works. No. But since it's a map instead of a list, maybe I can just do this. And interestingly, it added that around it. Let's see if this works. Maybe I'll just kill this server. This is a guess. Sort of by reading the docs. Fields may not contain non-model topic. Okay, so that's not going to work. So here we have the fields, and it's just a list of fields. But if I want to define a label for that field, there are two main arguments to the filters. Field name, the name of the model field to filter on. You can traverse relationship paths using the Dunder syntax. And the expression, okay. And then you can, okay. So the field name is the key. And then you can have different, specify multiple lookup expressions for each field. So we have fields, automatic filter generation of the model, filterable fields. The labels, filter reference. Well, let's see if we can get some help from ChatGPT here. I'm using Wagtail 6.1 to define a filter that will allow us to filter content in the Wagtail admin interface as part of a filter set relating to a page listing view set. The basis of the Wagtail filters is a Django library called Django filter. And Django filter allows you to define filters using a fields key defined on the meta class within a filter definition. However, I'm defining this on a relational field, a join table, which has references to the related content as well as the, in our case, label. So the tag that we're trying to apply to the content news item, which has a topic, and that goes through the topics relational table and looks in the topic field of the topics table. I will paste the code below for clarification. In the user interface, that's showing up as topics topic, and I would just like to change the user interface label to being topic. So how can I change the Django filter fields definition or the label so the user interface displays a different text than the relational field name, which is a little bit redundant? Then we'll go ahead and paste in the code here a little bit. And I'll paste in the models here so it has a bit better context. And then maybe a little bit of snippet from the Django docs. Let's see if it's got any latent knowledge of the Django filter project. So to change the label of a Django filter field in the Wagtail admin interface, you can use the label attribute within the filter definition. In your case, you want to change the label of the field topics topic to simply topic. Here's how you can achieve this by customizing the filter definition. So here's the filter set, topic to topic. Now, I don't know if we want a character field, but okay. And I've got changes here. I will start a branch if this, if I continue with that. And we should be able to import this. All right. We'll see what other fields are available, but that should be good. Now what happens? This is a bit of tedious to have to move these back around left and right all the time. So restarting the server, refreshing the page, filter by topic, 42. All right, so we'll see if we can guess it, but I will copy this. Choice filter, I think, is the correct one. Paste that. Refresh the page. Yeah. So we'll essentially have to reconstruct the choices. So that's how you would override it on the on the Django filters package. So Wagtail's actually doing a lot of magic for us. It's tended to be the case with Wagtail. It does provide a lot of help. You can write just a little bit of code and get a whole lot of stuff already working. Yeah, so but maybe there's a way of telling since we have defined our filter using the model syntax, and the topics is a limited choice from a related collection or related table of topics, I would like to auto-populate the topic choice filter with the existing topics. How can I auto-populate that? Wagtail was previously auto-populating that for us until we added the topic definition in our news item filter set class. However, upon adding that field definition, now we have an empty choice field set, so the values are no longer automatically populated. To auto-populate the topic choice filter with existing topics in Django filter, you should use a model choice filter instead of a character filter. Oh, cool. Model. Query set topics all label topic. Let's see if we can get this import here. Very cool. So now it's being a little bit extra helpful in printing out the whole class and all the definition, including the redundant parts, but okay, that's all right. All right, so oh, I see what I did wrong. Topic one. Boom. I think we're pretty good. So we'll rename this. I didn't open a bug for this. It was just something I noticed during our call. But this is really helpful. I mean, these tools, we're in discussion and discernment about the role of these tools in our lives and our work and our creativity and all these other things in our houses, listening to us on, on our wrists everywhere. It's not an easy topic. It's very complex, and it's not black or white. There's a lot of subtle shades, but certainly it's helping me quite a lot. Various of these tools, and I'm trying to see how they work and work together. I've got automated code scanning tools, checking my tests and coverage and code quality. But let's go ahead and squash and merge this. Bring in the changes from the main branch, synchronizing that. And go on with the actual work I was planning to do today. Kind of in a rush, solo dev, it's almost 10 p.m. But I want to make a little more progress. So the main task I'm working on was over here. So this is great. Now I learned a little more about how Wagtail's implementing the filter sets, and that we have Django filters in our project, so I could leverage that code for other features where we're not relying strictly on Wagtail. Now, I do need these as a reference. And I'm not sure if I should just bite the bullet and go straight into the really complex if I'm going to bite off more than I can chew. But in our interface, we have several listings. We've got archive issues, departments. So let's try that. Let's try magazine departments. I learn as much as I can about these. The problem is that this magazine is an all or none thing. I have to do all of them because they're in a grouping, and this grouping is relating to the model admin. It's a model admin grouping, and then the generic view set has a view set grouping or something along those lines. These generic views. Model view set. And then you can group them together. So let's give it a try. I'll create a branch. And we've used the model admin previously. Even with like thumbnail mixing and all this stuff. But Mary, the editor, said she's not using this view really. So what we'll do is sort of side by side, look at the way I did that with news, views, and hooks. And then do that also in So let's start with the archive issues, and I may or may not need the archive article. And then we have a bunch of imports here. And then we're going to define page listing view set. Those archive issues, add admin menu, true, title column, publication date, live and bulk actions. So that might already be working. No. Then you have to register it with the hooks and everything, of course. So we should look at the model definition to see that these fields are correct. Publication date. we got title, publication date, live, and bulk actions. Those are internal. Then we're going to register it. Yeah, URL structure, and then in Wagtail hooks, we will register it like this. We'll need to import that. It's a bit sloppy. There we are. And we'll have some help with our sorting in my pre-commit hook. We'll register it. Then we'll check. We have a new item, archive issues, and it works. Add archive issue. You have to select it, then you can create a new issue. All the fields work. Table of contents works. I think we're good. Okay. So inversely, I will remove the model admin definition as I add these new ones. And maybe pull over a little bit from it. See, what was the ordering? Publication date. Reverse, yeah. Let's see if this search field works. The same. Okay, we're going to next probably do the magazine departments. Run our pre-commit checks. Ruffle, clean up a little bit, remove some unused imports probably. Sort my imports. Run it one more time, just sometimes, yeah. So what would we do? What did we do here? Got a commented out code, but we'll come back to it. Publish the branch. Committing just one small step at a time, right? And I'll go ahead and create a draft pull request. Oops, I should have renamed it before that. I will continue that in a moment. Clean that up. So it's essentially I should think about these filter sets. Now on the archive issue, we didn't really have sidebar filtering, but the magazine issues, we might want to preserve this filtering here. You know, not like looking this bad, but actually, I think if we can just search by title, that's probably going to be good enough. This was just a little example. I won't add it back. Let's keep things really simple, just very simple. And incremental improvements is what we're after here. All right. We'll add the group last, but let's go to the magazine department. And what icon did I use for departments? Tablet Alt. No, departments. Menu item tag. Magazine department view set, wagtail hooks. Magazine department view set. Magazine department view set. Magazine department model admin. And now that I've got two of them, let's see if we can add the group, and then I'll move on to the magazine issues. So these are departments, add magazine department, choose the index page, departments, create a new department, department 1, and we will publish. Oh man. That's weird. So this is kind of new feature, function of 12. I think this is a bug. There should be like a listener on here. Let's see here. Inspect this. The only thing I can think of is that my URL slug might be interfering here. All the JavaScript is loading in. Let me double check. Person URL slug, just give me some kind of key. How do I search for damn file name? I want to find a file name. Yeah, that wouldn't be interfering with it. So yeah, I don't know if it's a bug. But this is the regular page add interface. It's not communicating with the content tab. I will open a bug report. While creating a new page with the Wagtail content management system, I believe I've encountered a bug. On the create page view, I see a form that's correctly populated with the title field for this page type, called magazine department in my case. The title field is required as it stems from the Wagtail page model. When I enter a value in the title field, the promote tab should be updated for search engines. It should automatically generate this slug based on the content of the title field. It should slugify that text. And versions prior to Wagtail 6.1, the slug worked. There was some JavaScript that runs in the background and automatically slugifies the title field on the promote tab. So you can just save the model. However, at this point, there is no value in the slug field. When I switch over to the promote tab, there's an error in the console that I'll paste into chat. It may or may not be related. I believe this is a bug, so I would like to summarize this succinctly as a bug report for a GitHub issue. One more time, so don't over rely on the tools. Gotta still be able to do it. Didn't search though. I need to search real quick. Slug. Seems strange that this bug would be present. Let me just try it on another page. Like, for example, if I go to the welcome page, leave that. Add a child page. Let's just say meeting document index page. See, that's working. The difference being that I created a content listing GPT is crashing. If I create a news item, choosing the news index page, creating the news item, that works. If I create a department, choosing the department index page, it's a Django model. That's the difference. Perhaps, let me double check. Magazine departments models. No. But maybe that was it. Damn. There's something very different between this form and the other. So look at the magazine department and the news item model. Interesting. So there's a news item. I don't know if I can disable for this site. There it goes. Okay, so that was it. Wasn't a bug. Wasn't a bug. Issue averted. Yeah, all right. There we go. And then essentially I think we're good to go to commit this as well. One problem with viewing them side by side is like narrow. Can I? Collapse this for a moment. And I'd like to remove the magazine department. And yeah, I think it would be nice if this little ellipsis here on the listing, where possible, maybe we'll include an add child. Let's find out by committing these changes first. Got our view sets, our hooks, remove the old one, add the new one. Synchronize those changes. Yeah, GPT's had some outages in the recent couple of days, especially. It looks like it's back online. Don't need the bug report now, but there we go. Good thing it failed at that exact moment. All right. Add news item, add magazine department, both working. Sort of. I think that's just on the model. I don't need to define the title field on the department model. So let me go up here to the magazine models again. One more time. In fact, that Subtitle definition might not be necessary. Very loud. There we go. So I think by definition, or by default, it'll have the page content panels. Yeah, very good. All right, so clean up. Now for the magazine issues, let's do the group first. Let's look at this documentation. There was a way of grouping the generic views. Create and a copy view, inspect templates, other customizations, choose a view set, model view set, reference index. You can turn this off. Ooh, and these export things. We're going to do some incremental improvements here. Very cool. Search fields. I'll need to maintain the search fields for the magazine issue. We may want a magazine article listing. This is where it starts to get challenging, though. Might not be a big challenge though. You just choose the parent. Yeah, I think we're good to go. I can make a magazine articles listing. Wow. Okay, but this is not exactly what I'm looking for. View set group is what I'm looking for. Okay, a container for grouping together multiple view set instances creates a menu item with submenu for accessing the main URL for each of the instances. For more information, we can say combining multiple view sets using a view set group. So yeah, we will continue this. I will link the pull request to number 938. Doesn't close it. It's going to be several pull requests involved here. I just have fewer tabs open here. So we're going to do a view set group. And I will define this in the views pie. Wagtail admin view sets base import view set group. Wagtail admin UI view sets pages. Here we go. And we will make this, we will name this magazine view set group items. We will use a trailing comma there. Then we will register it in our Wagtail hooks. And you instantiate it. All right. So now if we hop back over, closing this Wagtail tab out also, just refresh, we should have, we got two magazines, one here with archive issues and departments, one with, oh, okay, new. I'll just have to distinguish them. Interesting. So these new URLs I've created are colliding. I see. So now I need to not register them here. Got it. Now that we have the group, we don't need to register them in both places. That makes sense. Okay, so now we got the magazine, which just has issues left, and magazine new, which has our archive issues, and our departments. And I thought I added one, but let's make sure we get at least one department in there. Publish. So the whole flow works and lists and looks good. Nice. And now we don't have all that overlapping gobbledygook. They moved the filters to a drop-down menu. This is so nice. They've done such a great job here. And we can add a child page here. Can I add a child page here? No, because they're not hierarchical. I think we'll now see in the magazine issues listing if I can add a child page, which magazine articles are nested under the issues. So that's what makes it a little bit different than these departments and news items, which are kind of flat. Oh, cool. So I'm going to remove this now that everything's registered. Magazine view set. I'll leave the funny name for the moment, just so I can distinguish that, and then I'll come back and I'll clean it up. And we're not going to use that, so I'll just clean that up now while I'm here. So essentially, we've just added the magazine view set group. And we don't know, these are no longer used, so we'll just clean that up. And we'll commit these changes. All right, cool. And I'll push everything up to GitHub. And if you're interested, you can check out the pull request. Let's find the number here. I think we will just contain it to the magazine view set during this session. Keep the changes small in scope. But here's the pull request. All this code is open on GitHub. If you're building a similar project, feel free to crib the code, check it out, get it to suit your purposes. This project is quite feature rich in terms of it's got e-commerce, it's got online magazine with subscription interface, shopping cart, community discussions, contact form, multimedia listings, PayPal integration. It's been under development for over 5 years. We've been working on this. It's now in production, and we're just making some improvements to keep up with the recent changes in Wagtail 6, which is why I'm getting into this code. Why are my lines duplicating in the, anyway, my line numbers are duplicating in that diff view. Okay, so there's one more, and this is going to allow me to clean up a bunch of code here. But I'm going to be a little bit careful because I want to probably keep some of these filters. I think it would be valuable, like being able to filter by the publication date. We're only searching by the title in the magazine issue model admin, so that's good. We'll keep the documentation, the menu icon the same, title the same. It's ordering by publication date, and here we'll define perhaps all of these columns. Maybe. Actually, no, because we're no longer going to. We might be able to reuse these buttons as well. But I believe these buttons, the get button for object comes from page button helper, which is from Wagtail model admin. So all of that's been deprecated. Wagtail model admin package is going to be removed from our project, and that might mean we can't add custom buttons. So that's an unfortunate one. And the thumbnail mixing is going to be removed as well. So we're just going to keep things really simple. So I'll go ahead and just remove those right now. I think, maybe not. Okay, let's go back to the views, and we're going to import magazine issue. There we go. Trailing comma. And essentially, define a magazine issue. Oh, where'd my cursor go? Magazine issue view set. Let's see how much issues, doc full inverse, and search field's title is looking good. So then we'll just register this. Magazine issue view set, and we will then include that here, and essentially remove all of this. Yeah, the search field is only the title. Which has slimmed down our code significantly. Yep. Wagtail model admin options, all of that's going, and then we don't need any of the reverse URL or that kind of stuff. So we're losing a bit of functionality. But man, our code just went down to 10 lines. And the views just moved, and they're much more declarative. I didn't have all that imperative logic to generate the buttons and things like that. So let's go ahead and hop over here. Refresh. The magazine new now contains issues, which does list the old issues. Can I add a child page? It works. Okay. And I might be able to override that text. This is how you add the articles. So it knows it's going to be adding an article, and everything is good to go. So then the last thing I will do is just go back to this group and change the name back to just magazine. I like it. Later we might add a magazine, like articles listing that has more advanced search and filtering capabilities. When I do go to issues, the filters are pretty generic. Date, updated, edited by site, and has child pages. I don't know how to remove the site, like disable that, for example. Oh, maybe open up feature requests. Let's do that now. So here's how we will open the feature request real quick. Actually, not a feature request, but a Stack Overflow issue. I'm porting our Wagtail project code over to use the new page listing view set which is part of Wagtail 6 and increasingly improved in Wagtail 6.1. We are running Wagtail 6.1. One thing I've noticed about the view set listing is there's a filters widget. It says show filters in the upper right hand corner. It's sort of like a drop down menu with an icon. And within that menu, there are several filter by options: date updated, owner, edited by, site, and has child pages. The site is a result of Wagtail supporting multi-site, and understandably is a default feature in the filters. But however, our project and our deployment does not use the multi-site functionality. It's a single site. So it doesn't make sense for that to appear in our page listing views. It would be confusing to the end user who doesn't think in terms of multi-site. And in fact, the site only lists the current site. So it's a little bit redundant. I would like to open a Stack Overflow request or determine how to remove the site from the page listing view set filter widget in Wagtail 6.1. Do you know how to do that, or should I open a Stack Overflow request? That's another thing, because the model could have this knowledge, tacit knowledge there. I should have asked how to do it first. Create a custom filter set, override that, and then use that. And it's actually really good. Now the title already searches for that, like, so that's working. Revision. Wow, this is great. Okay, so actually I didn't need the Stack Overflow. Let's see what we can do with this. So Wagtail bulk action mixing. What's that? Oh, nice. You can define custom bulk actions, like assigning tags. That would be rad. Where is it using that? It's not. So this is also something we have to be very careful about, these hallucinations. Okay, but we did learn earlier, and from ChatGPT, that, and I think from Wagtail docs, actually, that it's using Django filters. So far this is looking correct. Let me commit what we've got, because this is definitely working. So this is just a big change. It's a checkpoint. Add magazine issue view set. And essentially it consolidated the group. Look at all that code we removed. Man, that's great. Okay, so we're going to continue. Now, we will define this filter in the views pie as well. This is where I'm defining the filters, sort of up here. Or in the news app, we define the filters there. So let's go ahead and see if this generally works. The way we did it in the news was slightly different. So if I hop over here, it's maybe it's one and a half dozen another, but we did a page listing view set filter set class, which is essentially probably pointing to this Django filters filter set. I don't know. So I'll actually prefer to use this approach, but custom page filter set. And the key is we're using the model meta right here. And we're back here in the field. So this is fairly conventional stuff. However, when I used it in this case, it appended this to the filters. It didn't remove the other one. So this might not work. But here's the key. Get filter set class is going to override it. Whereas here, news item filter set, it should be like relatively the same. This is confusing. I'm not sure if this will have the effect we're looking for of removing. Because if we hop over here, I'll just show you. Go to news items. And the filters, it has my new topic filter, which is working, but it didn't remove the site. This is why. This is the key step. You have to unregister it and then register our custom one. Wow. This is some deep knowledge, and these are new changes. Stuff was added in Wagtail 6 or Wagtail 6.1, I think, which was released in the last, within the last 6 months. So the model is pretty savvy. So this will go in our Wagtail hooks. Everything else is going to go here. Hey, what's up, Eagles? How are you doing today? Welcome to the channel. Checking out on YouTube. You doing some web development or Python development? Okay, so I think we'll be good to go. If you're interested in Python and Django development, you can check out our repo here. There's a lot of code for reuse. GitHub.com, Western friend. Custom filter, page filter. So where did it get this? Let me look at this a little bit closer. Unregistered page listing view set. So I'm afraid that this is going to do it globally. But what I think I can do is unregister our specific page listing. So I have to read between the lines here. This is the thing that I've just noticed with these large language models in general, in a way they're tools that augment our abilities, but we have to be very careful, and we still have to kind of know at least what we're trying to do and a little bit about the problem domain. 80% of what I see here on the screen I've never seen before. This is like generally new material, so it's kind of teaching me how Wagtail works, but at the same time, I've worked with Wagtail enough and with this model and these new features, I sort of can spot misalignment. And misalignment can be really subtle, but this is a really important topic, a broad topic about artificial intelligence alignment with our human goals and rights, things like that. And this is a small misalignment. It's not quite like a hallucination, which is a different type of issue that the large language models and humans, for that matter, experience. We'll make stuff up. We'll fabricate reality. We'll lie. We'll mislead. We create misinformation and disinformation. Yeah, these large language models are, trained on human data and human knowledge, and they're not perfect. In any case, this is not probably a hallucination. We'll find out when we get here. I just want to read everything and understand it before I try it. But this is a misalignment. It's a small distinction. Okay, so these are quite a number of steps, but yeah, where I can test this right away is on these news items. For example, on the news items, maybe I only want to filter by topic. In fact, that's going to be a pretty easy way of testing it. Then, since I've already done step 1, step 2, now I can just skip to step 3. So let's double check the code here. Wagtail hooks, but I need to open the Wagtail hooks in the news project. So we've only registered the view set. Here's where we are registering the view set, custom page listing view set. And this is interesting. It's unregistering the class and not the instance. That's a subtle distinction as well. This is the instance of the view set, but I need to unregister the class. And then where do I get this wagtail admin view sets from? From where do I import the wagtail admin view sets variable? It doesn't seem to be defined. Seems to have made an error in the example by referencing a wagtail admin view sets which isn't directly available in import. Instead, you need to register the custom view set in a slightly different manner. Here's how you can correctly customize the register and register a custom page listing view set in Wagtail 6.1 without referencing an undefined variable. Now it seems to be hallucinating. Okay, I'm losing my trust in this. This was a little bit of an aside. Anyway, that'll be an enhancement. I want to keep myself focused to the task at hand, and that will be a nice enhancement for another day. So we got magazine issues, able to add child issue. I think that was it for this task. It was like one little enhancement I wanted to add. Yeah, everything else is working. Great. Okay, well, it's been a little bit of time there. Yeah, you're welcome. Eagles. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. So since the model is kind of hallucinating though, back to this topic, to make asynchronous progress, I'm going to open a Stack Overflow question about how to do this. I know I'm going to want to circle back around to it. And at that point, I'll probably want some more information. So first, let me just see the filter set. So we got the group set group thing majig working. That's great. Whoa, this is looking glitchy. Let's search for filter set. Listing view. If you would like to make, okay, so you can have the ability to filter the listing by defining a list filter attribute, specifying the list of fields to filter. Wagtail uses the Django filter package under the hood, and this attribute will be passed to Django filter's meta fields attribute. This means you can also pass a dictionary that maps the field name of the lookups. If you would like to make further customizations to the filtering mechanism, you can also use custom Wagtail filter set subclass overriding this filter set class. List filter attribute is ignored if the filter set class is set. For more details, you go to the Django filter documentation. And you can export the listing to a spreadsheet. Okay, well, so it looks like there's two ways. You can say list filter or filter set class. We might have done the more complicated way. In terms of the definition here for the news, we did the filter set class approach, which essentially seems like it was necessary because then we needed to define the widget and populate the topics. But otherwise, you would just define the dictionary here. Nice, okay. So I'm curious in the magazine view if it might be interesting, if it might be kind of cool. For example, magazine issue, to have a filter. What was the documentation there? All right, move GPT out of the way. List filter. And this can be a map. It says departments. And the publication date is actually what I'm looking for. And then, according to Django filter, we can do interesting. These might be kind of cool. Year greater than and here's where we can kind of do it. Publication date greater than. Let's see how that works. So for now we go back to the magazine issues filter. So the date updated works, but that's not really, I was trying to add that publication date. A list or tuple where each item is the name of the model field of type Boolean, character field, date time field, integer field, or, okay. Alternatively, it can be a dictionary that maps a field name to a list of lookup expressions. This will be passes. Okay, so the lookup expression, maybe that's just taking one step too far. Let's first just try the list approach. It can be a tuple or publication date. Let's just try that. I think the publication date would be a legitimately useful feature because these issues go back many years. Well, you can search for a name, but I think you would want to search for a publication date. And now why is this just not working? Why is this just not working? So the other way of doing it would be similar to this news. It would be magazine issue filter set. Publication date, and then we will do filter set class. And do we need to instantiate that or just reference it? Yeah. Okay. And I might have to somehow. There it is. Publication date shows up. Okay. It's showing up. See if we can just use the greater than or equals to. Cannot contain non-model field names, publication date GTE. That's weird. Right. So then we need to use the dictionary. All right. So the title's already insensitive contains. That could be interesting. Title's already there. I think it already has I contains, but let's see if that works. Restart it. All right, it's hallucination. LTE. Reload. Public gosh. See, this one's got a nice range. Date from day 2. How do we get that? Date from date 2. There we are. So yeah, basically back to the fields, publication date. And then we define it here. Date from to range filter. Reload. So this has got to be something in Wagtail. This has got to be a wagtail thing. Inspect. Date range field. Date range field. Date range picker widget. Wagtail admin filters. Total shot in the dark. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. Just to see if it works. News items, refresh the page. News items. Nah, it's not working. Try news, not news items. Sorry, it's the magazine issues, publication date. Close. Date range picker widget. Widget start and end date picked. Here we are. Cool. And then let's go back up here. I should have some squiggles. And why is it commenting both of those out? That's kind of weird. They are on the same line, I guess. Something weird happened. Publication date. Let's see how it looks. Yes, we did it. We did it. That's the last improvement. I'm already extending this a bit far, but we've gone into some interesting territory, learning more about these filter sets and the particular types of widgets that are available from both the Django filters package as well as Wagtail has some built-in widgets that make the user experience just a little bit nicer. Like a calendar picker and all that stuff. None of it I had to create. I just had to figure out kind of where it's located. It's not very clearly documented. So I'm finding more and more I have to use the Wagtail source as the documentation, as we just did here with the code search. So kind of copy pasta, but hey, that's the way of the gun sometimes. Cool. Let's see if we can recap this. I'll commit this change. And we'll probably just recap it on looking at the GitHub diff view. It's a little easier that way, sort of. It's not in the right order always, but so today we've been working on pull request. number 1069. So I'm going to take just a quick break. I'll come back and I'll recap the progress we made today. The 3 files, about 100 lines of code, not a whole lot, mostly just learning how things work. But it was surprisingly easy. I was a bit intimidated by this particular section of the project. So let me take a quick break. Hello, and welcome to a recap of today's open source live code hangout. We've been working in the Western Friend project. It's available on github.com/westernfriend and in the westernfriend.org repository or project, as mentioned. And this is the official website of Western Friend. I've been working on an improvement here to the way we navigate the Wagtail admin interface to manage magazine issues and magazine-related content. Let's take a quick look in the UI just to see what it looks like. Wagtail is a content management system heavily inspired by WordPress, but built in Django and Python. It's got an excellent user experience, excellent developer experience, and we have been updating this project to take advantage of some improvements made in Wagtail 6. We are now running Wagtail 6.1, which has had a roadmap, a timeline of switching away from a way of defining the interface, the management interface. They removed a component we had relied on for many years called Model Admin. That's now a third-party package. It may or may not be maintained, but now in the Wagtail core, there's a new way of defining these views, and we'll show you the code in just a minute. They're called view sets, and then there's a way of filtering the views as well. So we had to look at the documentation a little bit today, but the end result looks like this. You're able to define custom navigation menu here along the side, where you can group sub views that allow you to manage certain types of content. These can be Django models, these can be Wagtail page models, and I think even arbitrary, maybe I'm confusing this thing called a chooser, but anyway, yeah, it's essentially content in your database, and you can make it easy for the user to kind of have a mental model of how things are organized that aligns with the way their organization is run. And Western Friend has been a magazine and a print publication for almost 100 years now. It used to be called Friends Bulletin, but nonetheless, the organization has been running for quite a long time. And so we have archive issues. You can see the demo site locally. These will, on the production site, date back to, I think, 1929, this whole listing here. And all of this interface is generated by Wagtail with a few lines of declarative Python code. I kind of tell it, what we're wanting to list and what fields to show and how to filter, what we want to be able to filter by in some cases. It generates everything else, all these interfaces for adding one, and it looks at the model, the structure of your database and the types of fields. It'll automatically generate appropriate widgets, and Wagtail has really fairly nice widgets. Generally speaking, this is a nice calendar widget. There's a couple of visual glitches here as I highlight their usability, but they also have really interesting features like discussions, inline discussions, moderation flow, draft, all this stuff, previews, accessibility checks. All of this is just baked into the Wagtail CMS, and it's at version 6, so it's fairly mature. And in today's pull request, what we did is just went through a previous version of this menu that was built with the Wagtail model admin, which is now part of a third-party package that we're trying to remove from our project. It was deprecated as a version 6 and converted these 3 listings into the new model view set. And these are core to what Western Friend has to offer. The magazine is the contemporary version of this archive issue, which was when it was Friends Bulletin, they were print publication, and the newer issues are digital, hybrid print and digital. So you can get PDF online on the website as well as paper mailed to you if you want. So that's about it. And we added a couple of custom filters here. We'll take a look at allow you to narrow down these issues that span over a decade in the Western Friend magazine and back to 1929 in the Friends Bulletin archive. So here's our pull request. It's not many lines of code. We'll take a look at the files that changed here, but it's mainly using what are called view sets in the Wagtail 6, and they're just Wagtail's mechanism for defining a group of related admin views with shared properties in a single unit. And these will typically display some kind of content as a table and give you a menu option and labels and icons and things like that, and some callbacks and a URL to navigate it. So all of this, everything is just generated for you. You don't have to wire up any views or anything like that. It's declarative, which is a really nice way of programming. And so what we've done is we've done some minor improvement to our models here. In the magazine model, we have a magazine department, and I was having a little bit of a bug where the slug wasn't being generated correctly, and it was because I had overridden some content panels. And so I just kind of removed these definitions to clean up and fix a small bug. So that's why this changes here. But the bulk of the changes we're now defining in what are conventionally defined Django views. And since these are view sets, it kind of maps, the concept maps to the Django view equivalent. And what we do is we define filter set classes, which allow us to define these interfaces for filtering based on different fields and types, field types, data, dates and strings and Boolean fields. They all have different widgets. And we define view sets, which are based on the Wagtail page listing view set. In Wagtail, it's based on Django models, but Wagtail has a specific type of model they define called a page. And the Wagtail page is like one of the most powerful parts of the Wagtail content management system. It's a tree-based model coming from Django Treebeard, and you define a page class, a model class, and it handles all of the view routing and navigation and metadata about publication and updates and ownership, everything for you as part of the model. We're pretty far into the project though. We've been working on this for 5 years. I don't want to go too deep into the Wagtail internals, but nonetheless, that's why this is called a page listing view set. And our archive issues, as well as our magazine issues, and magazine departments, they're all based on the Wagtail page model. So you'll see that again. And this is all declarative. You just tell what you want the label to say and what icon you want to use. I think we have, I can't remember the name of the icon set we're using. But anyway, you can add different icon sets and whether or not it should appear in the menu. And then you define custom columns that will give you a little bit of control and specific widgets and sorting based on the type. So these are kind of going to render some HTML. They're basically server-side components. You could think of them if you're coming from React, but you do everything in declarative Python. So no JavaScript is needed. And your components are all rendered for you dynamically by this communication that generates like JavaScript and everything dynamically, like these bulk actions. This is all JavaScript and React based, but for me, I'm just able to focus on only Python, declarative Python. I enjoy that. So these classes are bundling all of those server-side rendered components and live wiring it to the Wagtail admin interface, including the calls, the REST, and interactions in some cases. And just declared the search field so that when I type a text into this search box, it'll know which of our model fields to search across. So really, that's about it. Then you just instantiate it as a variable here, which is kind of going to make it available in our hooks when I register to that in a moment. I just repeated that process 3 times. One for the archive issue model, one for the magazine department model. These are roughly the same definitions. There's not much significance here in instantiating that. And then one for the magazine issue, same kind of concept, search fields. And I had defined some filter set class. So let's take a quick look at the filter set. And what that allows you to do is define custom filters. And in the case of the magazine issue, these date back over a decade. So I thought it would be nice not only to be able to search for them by the title, but if you're wanting to get the issues from 2013 or 2014, to be able to select those from a date widget, which this is the newer date widget. Something was messed up with the previous field we were looking at. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's got a year select. It's very usable, user-friendly. You can go into the future, you can go into a little bit into the past, about a century either side of now, include now with now in the center. So you can select a certain date and something greater than 2023, perhaps. When did I publish that? If I enter, does that work? Yeah, and you can see it, when you're populating the search meta tag up here, you can combine multiple filters at once. Oh, I published these a while ago. These are just simulated issues. But yeah, it's the idea. 2013. So let's just say greater than 2015. Let's try that. Publication date from 2015, January 1st. Yeah, then it only shows these newer issues, and you could constrain it as well to just that year. So that's the whole point. Again, I didn't write any of this code for filtering. Did you see that, how dynamic that was? And it's making requests to the server and populating this view and doing pagination and this dynamic interface where I can remove the filters. And then we have forms that are generated to add it. All of it's done with just a few lines of Python. I can't really say enough about how great of a developer experience it is to work with Wagtail CMS. So yeah, with under 100 lines of code, I was able to define, these listing views and then group them together in what is called a view set group. And it's pretty simple. It's the top level menu entry here. So the magazine is the view set group, and then these are all view sets. Pretty cool. And you just take those instantiated view sets and put them in the items attribute of the magazine view set group in our case. You could do this instantiation inline here. And what this argument does is it gives it a URL. It's what builds out this admin/magazine issues address here. So yeah, you could, depending on your own style. I sort of originally did it like this because we were importing them into another file and they were already instantiated at that point. But it wouldn't hurt to just do them all inline here. 6 and 1/2 dozen are at the end the other. And so we were able to remove a lot of code essentially as part of this. It's all of this, essentially what's called the Wagtail model admin, which is now a package that's been deprecated and removed from Wagtail core. So that's why this pull request is actually more lines removed than added. And we still maintained most of the functionality. We lost a little bit of functionality. There was a couple of buttons here that would let you add an article for an issue. But we can add child pages here. And one thing I'll need to do is probably create an articles listing that allows you to, or somehow show the articles for a given issue. That'll be an enhancement. But I think if we go to perhaps view in the page tree, you can see under magazine, you can see the issues here, and any child articles would appear under there. Yeah, I didn't test that. That'll be an enhancement though. I want to keep this pull request kind of small. So yeah, and I want to keep the recap a bit short as well. So thanks for stopping by, checking out this stream. If you'd like to get involved with this project, we're on github.com under the Western Friend organization and the westernfriend.org project. Pull request today is visible here. pull request 1069, and I'm working on a larger issue to use these view sets throughout our project, deprecating the model admin package. All right, well, thanks very much for your time. Hope you're doing well, and have a great day.